going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. I am Kadarius Washington, and y'all are checking out the Sports Rundown. Well, folks, the WNBA All-Star break has come and has gone, and the second half of the season officially tips off tonight. So today, we're going to have a little fun. I'm going to give you guys my second half WNBA playoff predictions, and here we go. So starting at number 1, I'm going to give you the New York Liberty. I picked them before the season to be the 1 seed. They're currently number 2 at 15-6 and 3.5 games behind the Minnesota Lynx. But I can see the New York Liberty catching the Lynx for that 1 seed because, look, they're going to be getting Jonquel Jones back from injury, which is a pretty big deal for the New York Liberty because they've been fairly a roller coaster in the games that she's been out. Plus, they're going to be signing Emma Meeseman, of course, pending her visa approval, and that's a pretty darn big deal. So let me pretty much give you the Spark Notes idea of this New York Liberty front court. Jonquel Jones, Breanna Stewart, Emma Meeseman. A combined 4 WNBA championships, 4 finals MVPs, 3 league MVPs, and a partridge in a pear tree. That is a pretty darn big get for the New York Liberty, and I'm pretty sure now that they're going to be massive favorites to win the whole thing, and rightfully so. So I have the New York Liberty taking over that 1 seed, and then at number 2, I have the Minnesota Lynx. And here's the thing to look at for the Minnesota Lynx. Right now, the Minnesota Lynx have the hardest remaining schedule of any team currently in the playoff field, including starting on next Wednesday night. We are finally going to get the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx for the first time since the WNBA Finals. Now, that matchup against the Liberty and the Lynx on Wednesday, that is going to be the measuring stick game for those two teams. And of course, us getting the series throughout the second half as the Lynx and the Liberty are going to be facing off against each other 4 times between next Wednesday and the end of the season. Those matchups, that series, could very well decide who's going to be the 1 seed in the WNBA postseason, because right now the 1 seed could really go either way between the Liberty and the Lynx. So I'm going to be keeping my preseason picks. I'm going to have the Liberty at number 1, and I'm going to have the Lynx at number 2. And at number 3, I'm going to have the Phoenix Mercury. Right now, there are 3 teams in the WNBA who you can make a solid case they could win the whole thing. Liberty, Lynx, and Mercury. And here's the thing to look at. The Phoenix Mercury have the easiest remaining schedule in the WNBA. And here's the thing. Now, I know the Mercury have been dealing with injuries all season long with Kalia Copper and now with Satu Sabali. But here's the thing. Alyssa Thomas, I believe right now, is the number 2 MVP candidate in this race. Of course, Nafisa Collier of the Lynx being the leader in the clubhouse. But I do think that this MVP race is a lot closer than we originally thought it was. And I think a fully healthy Phoenix Mercury team matches up really well against the Liberty and the Lynx, and so I have the Phoenix Mercury as my number 3 seed. And then at number 4, I'm going to give you the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream is a team who they have dark horse title contender written all over it. They've got another MVP candidate in Alicia Gray. They have Bree Jones, who was an All-Star. Ryan Howard, of course, going to be shut down until August, but we already know about her. And we've got Naz Hillman, who right now is in the discussion for both Most Improved Player and 6th Player of the Year. But the Atlanta Dream, I mean, honestly, I just feel that the Liberty Lynx and the Mercury are just a cut above the Atlanta Dream, but I think they're close. I think they're close. They're a very deep team, but right now I have them as the number four spot in the postseason, and at number 5 I have the Seattle Storm. Now, look, I understand that there are consistency issues with the Seattle Storm. We already know it's a veteran-led team. Noelle Quinn heavily relies on her starters. She doesn't really dip into the bench like that. But at the same time, the Seattle Storm have the second easiest remaining schedule in the WNBA. I still think they hang around that 5 spot. Like I said during my preseason predictions, the Seattle Storm was going to be hanging somewhere around that 5 spot, and that's where they are right now. Well, right now they're currently the 4 seed. I picked them in the preseason to be the 5, and I'm picking them now to be the 5 there. So basically, if you are a fan of the Liberty, Lynx, Mercury, Dream, and Storm, I would be sleeping pretty easily because those teams are going to make the playoffs. Those teams I am not worried about. But once we get down to the 6th seed, this is where things get sticky. Because I can really see a situation where we could have 5 teams fighting for 3 spots. So at the number 6 spot, I'm going to give you the Golden State Valkyries. I mean, right now they're the number 9 seed, but the Golden State Valkyries are going to be getting their number 1 pick from the expansion draft, Alana Rupert, previously of the Atlanta Dream. And so that is going to be a major help for the Valkyries there. And the Valkyries, they're just constantly finding ways to make these games close, competitive, and they just win games. They just win games and they make things interesting. And I have the Valkyries, who have been the surprise of the season, and the team who in the preseason I picked dead last. I have them as the 6th seed in the second half as far as the playoffs are concerned. And at number 7, I'm going to give you the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever have been a fairly up and down team. Caitlin Clark has missed a majority of the season due to injuries, and really Caitlin Clark has really been struggling on the road in games as of recent, and she's been playing good, but she hasn't been playing great. And the Fever, like I said, have just been a roller coaster. They're just going up and down and up and down. But I can see them holding on to that 7th spot there. And at number 8, the last playoff spot, I'm going to give you the Las Vegas Aces. Now, I know I came on here a couple of weeks ago and I virtually wrote the Las Vegas Aces epitaph. But I can really see them holding on to that 8th spot. They're currently the 8th seed right now. And like I even said a couple of weeks ago about the Aces, they still have the best player in the world in A'ja Wilson. They still have Jackie Young, who's had a great season so far. And I really think A'ja Wilson and her brilliance and her gameplay, and of course Jackie Young and all of the sporadicness of the Las Vegas Aces is going to eventually keep them afloat and just keep them at that 8 seed line. And at number 9, I'm gonna give you a surprise at number 9. I'm gonna give you the LA Sparks. If there is a team right now in the bottom 5 who I think can get hot and go on a run, it's the LA Sparks. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries and players in and out of the lineup at the start of the season, but we're starting to see a little bit more consistency now with the LA Sparks. And plus, they recently hired Letitia Trammell to be a special assistant for the team, and there's a lot of smoke going around there, so that's definitely going to be something to monitor. But recently as well, they signed Julie Van Loo, which is something that I like. And of course, we're hearing a lot of these reports that Cameron Brink is very, very close to making her return to the team. As we know, her rookie season got cut short last year due to a torn ACL. And I think Cameron Brink coming back is going to be the shot in the arm that this Sparks team needs. I think they're going to fall just short of that 8 spot, but I do think they're going to get hot in the second half, and they're going to be in serious contention for that number 8 seed. And at number 10, I'm going to give you the Washington Mystics. Now, listen, the Mystics, I mean, they're a very talented team. They're another team who I can see fighting for that 8 spot, but I'm just not sold on the Mystics yet. I still think they're very close. I still think they're definitely a year away from being a serious playoff threat, but I just don't have all that good of a feeling about the Washington Mystics at this very moment. And at number 11, I'm going to give you the Dallas Wings. Now, listen, we already knew this season was a wash anyway. We knew this season was done for the Wings, but they've definitely shown a lot of promise for the future, especially with their rookie trio in Paige Beckers, who right now is the leader in the clubhouse for Rookie of the Year, and rightfully so, and I think she's going to win it too. Isaiah James and J.J. Quinterly, that rookie trio over there, have shown a lot of promise for the future of Dallas, but I do think that they're going to be the 11th seed as far as this go-around is concerned. And at number 12, it's kind of close, but I'm going to give you the Chicago Sky. Because, listen, their guard play all season has been an absolute mess. They've been dealing with some injuries and a lot of bad losses. And every time I want to believe that the Chicago Sky is going to go on a run, they just suffer another bad loss, another injury, and so I have the Chicago Sky at the 12th seed. This season has been an absolute disaster for Chicago. They're number 12, and at number 13, I have the Connecticut Sun there. And for those of you who've been watching the Sun and who've been watching the W all season, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, listen, they've got a bright future with all their young stars. Sanaya Rivers, who I believe is going to be an absolutely phenomenal defender. You got Anissa Morrow, of course, Marina Mabry, if she even stays there after this season. But you definitely do have a lot of promise for the future there for Connecticut, but I have them finishing dead last. So looking at my standings predictions one more time as we head into the second half of the W season, I've got the Liberty at number 1. I've got the Lynx at number 2. I've got the Mercury at number 3. I have the Dream at number 4. I've got the Storm at number 5. I've got the Valkyries at number 6. I've got the Fever at number 7. The Aces at 8. The Sparks at 9. The Mystics at 10. The Wings at 11, Sky at 12, and the Connecticut Sun at 13. And to cut across the field, I'm keeping my finals prediction like I made in the preseason. I picked the Lynx over the Liberty in the WNBA final. I'm keeping that prediction there. I know the Liberty, especially building up that front court, especially with getting Emma Mieseman, and we discussed all of that. But I really, really like the Lynx to win it all. I feel like that franchise is due for a championship, especially with how the finals ended controversially last year. I just think that the Lynx are due. I just think that the team is due, and of course we know how karma plays into some of these things, but I really do like the Lynx to win it all. We picked the Lynx over the Liberty before the season. We're picking the Lynx over the Liberty now as we go into the second half of the W season. We're in for some pretty entertaining hoops. Very interesting. We're going to have our twists, turns, and surprises, and it's definitely going to be enjoyable there as far as the second half is concerned. Like, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell to be notified of when I post again, and also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports, and I will see y'all the next time. Peace.